Today I'm reviewing Final Fury, not to be confused with Fury by Studio Break-In, or Racket Fury, or even a month ago, Path of Fury. This is Final Fury from the guys who brought us Synth Riders. And you can feel it in the menu that they provide. It's polished, it's smooth, it has a lot of the same effects that you'd expect from a company who made a game as cool as that. And if I could, condense this down into what is this game? It's Street Fighter. It's what had previously been a left to right, two-dimensional fighter is now three-dimensional. Puts you in the shoes of the person fighting in the arena. And they give you multiple characters, and every character has different strengths and fighting patterns. And you can pick between a handful of different locations. And on a base level, you can feel a lot of polish went into this game. You can feel that just from the menu alone that they put a lot of effort into this. And they learned a lot from making Synth Riders, and they brought it with them. We're going to get into it. You guys are watching Bringhurst VR. So when I talk about the menu system and the polish, I'm talking about a level of quality that is often missing from current VR games. You got a low budget, what are you going to do? But clearly these guys have some money. But it's not going to save it from this video. I respect it. I like what these guys are trying to do. And if you go and look at the reviews on Meta, it's positive. It's like 4 out of 5 stars. But if you're a fan of my channel, if you've been here, thank you for being here. Thank you for always commenting. I read everything. Then you know that there's more to it than that. You could argue that Gorilla Tag is phenomenal in terms of setting a level at which the stakes are the highest, but it doesn't mean that Gorilla Tag is a game that you should respect. And so, having said that, Final Fury, it's a confusing name. I mean, with having just released Path of Fury and films like Fists of Fury. As I'm trying to think of this game, I've played it, I'm done, and I'm trying to conjure up what is the name of this game as I'm writing this review. All I can think is Fists of Fury because of the connotation of films that have come before it. And so, okay, I think the name is a bit wonky, but let's get into the mechanics. This is, for better or worse, you could call it a side-scrolling one-on-one fighter, Street Fighter. But with that, it brings some mechanics that hasn't really been experimented with too much in VR. There's this thing where you got to bring up your arms to block. You'd expect as much. And to fire a weapon from your hip to your arm, kind of thrust forward and throw a fireball. And then, of course, like anything from Tekken, you get close enough and you're given the option to pull this move where you grab them, throw them into the air, and bring them down on their head. And that's what you want to do. That seems to be where the most damage comes from. And it's all about getting close, finding a moment where they don't have their arms up, but they're not protected, and just dishing out damage and winning the tournament. But if that sounds overly simplified, then it kind of is, because they lay out in the beginning of this what your moves are. You can dash left and right using the button beside the joystick and then moving the joystick. Either controller will do that, and that's how you kind of duck, dodge, dip, and dive. And that kind of spares you through the level. But in the end, you're left with several maneuvers, and that appears to be, from my minimalist perspective, is that you can hoist your arm up, kind of like that, and that thrusts forward, depending on the character you have, something that paralyzes them, suspends them, so that you have a chance to inflict damage on them. Fine. And then there's a movement where you, from your waist, thrust forward a fireball, and that's, susceptible to them putting up their arms and blocking. And then if you find yourself on occasion to be close enough to them to deal that final blow, then you kind of hug the air. You grab like that, and you're sent into this third-person perspective where you see your avatar whip forward and grip them and thrust them into the air and bring them down. And all of that is rewarding. You get good at it. I'm not good at it. I was never good at Street Fighter. I could kick your ass in Tekken back in 1997. But this is a different beast. And it's clear that they're trying to market that a little bit. It's a bit of nostalgia that's been untouched. And I respect it. But it doesn't change the fact that there appear to be, and granted, I've played this for 3 days, 4 maneuvers. 4 maneuvers. swipe up to freeze him, thrust forward to hit him with a projectile, maybe one or two other things. My brain, it's mashed potatoes. And then, of course, you're up close next to him and that final blow. Pick him up, slam him down, third-person style. And again, I respect it, but at some point, because you're given so few maneuvers, it results in this thing where every time you enact a move, you get this dialogue, which in the case of this character, she's like this ultra environmentalist. What does she say? I don't know. This is what she says.
Nature's retribution! Retribution! Nature's retribution! Nature's retribution! Nature's retribution! Nature's retribution! Nature will always prevail.
How dare you!
And so you're in this thing where it's a constant thing, and at worst, it's like it's just every time. Like you're so close, you want to get a blow in, and she's got her arms up, so you use that move, and then it's just repeated over and over again, and it gets tiring. It gets monotonous. And the move that you want to use, this final blow, this kind of KO where third person you pick them up and slam them down, you can't seem to do it when they have their arms up. Even if you've used this maneuver where you've thrown a low blow and their feet are tangled up in vines and they're stuck, they can still put their arms up. And as much as I try to grab, it just will not enable that maneuver. And granted, I don't know if I'm bad at this game. I probably am, but I also don't know if it's a bug. This is early access after all. This came out, I think, March 8th. Early access is meant to be for a while ago. It would have been side quest, but now it's like, because it's early access, it's full release. They can call it early access all they want, but it doesn't change the fact that it's on the store. Everyone can have it right now, and the reviews are there to bolster it. And so I think it's very likely that I'm just bad at this game. Fine. But I swear to God, half the time, spend this time grabbing. Like I try to, okay, I'm going to do it. My arms are out, and nothing happens. But if they have their arms up, then what is that tangled mess at their feet for? And I really have to emphasize that I'm probably just bad at this game. You'd probably kick my butt if I played you multiplayer, but I wouldn't know because multiplayer is a ghost town. This has been out for 2 weeks, and I have tried multiplayer at 11 p.m., 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and every time I let it run for 10 minutes and it says still searching. There's nobody there to play with. So I don't know. All I can talk about is the single player mode against AI. And right now it really feels like it's kind of this well-intentioned thing that is ultimately janky. I can't get the moves to work properly. And if the issue is that I'm just not doing it right, then it means that the learning curve is so high that it makes it not a lot of fun to play. Now, all the reviews you see online, these 4 out of 5 stars, they seem well-intentioned. They don't seem like bots. They don't seem to me to be paid actors. And I can see that, like, this is a thing that exists on the periphery. No one else is doing the game like this. But I also think there's a thing where people are so happy to see something new in a genre, some new aspect of gaming in VR that really has been neglected up to this point, that they're willing to forgive just a ton of stuff in the pursuit of promoting this new thing, which the developers deserve. I hope they get all the promotion in the world. Synthriders is a fantastic game, but Synthriders also lives and dies by the fact that they rely only on these neon glowing 2077 style beams of light, and it's so easy to think that it looks good because they're not asking a lot of the device. The differences between Quest standalone and PC VR regarding Synthriders is minimal. It's all about resolution. And everyone will agree that whether you like that format or not, Synthriders looks good. And here they risk straying away from it. The menu speaks to Synthriders all day long, but inside the game, the characters, the maps, they're deliberately simplified down, they're boxy. The textures of the map that you're playing on, the arena, they're significantly reduced in quality. And it's a noticeable thing. I almost wish they had gone a different direction. Because Quest has this thing, it's this issue where they want to make the most use out of what the Quest can do and magnify the resolution, but at the same time, there are limitations that have to be abided by. And suddenly, at the onset of launch, the game is done, they have to decide, okay, this isn't running well. What are we going to reduce? And they're always going to have to reduce the quality of the characters and the textures because they can't abide anything less than 60 frames a second. And I think they know it. I think that the game looks pretty janky. I think that it's not impressive. And in the end, what you have is a game that is physically boxy and simplified in maps that are low resolution, and the textures leave something to be desired, with a system of gaming that means well and that calls back to games 20 years prior to it, but that is envisioned in this package that doesn't give you enough special moves and that just feels a little bit lackluster. Again, for the last time, I might be just terrible at this game. It's possible. It's possible that 3 days of playing this game is not enough to unlock the dozens of maneuvers that this game offers, but at the onset of playing, it tells you what those maneuvers are, and it's a handful. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love to revisit this down the line. I'm looking forward to it. I respect these people. Synth Riders is an amazing game, but I just don't care about this. And with that, I'm going to shut it down. Thank you for being here. If you guys want this, you'll find it down below. 10% off using my link. And below that, I have my website, which has nearly every single MetaQuest game ever released. You'll save 10% off everything. And it's up to me to update that list. It's a little bit behind right now. I'll fix it, I promise. But there is a link where you can request any game you want. And I can virtually guarantee that if you request a game within 6 hours, I will send you a link to save that money. It's a great way of saving cash and supporting my channel. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you think down below. Tell me if I'm wrong. I might be. And you guys have been watching Bringhurst VR.